Hey there everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So recently, a friend of mine has been rewatching Malcolm in the Middle and has been talking a lot about it. So I thought back to when I last binge watched the series during the pandemic. One episode sprang to mind. I remember thinking it was such a clever episode, and after revisiting it, it is still really solid in my opinion. So, at its core, bowling is quite a straightforward and simple plot. Malcolm and Reese meet some friends from school at a bowling alley. A down-to-earth and believable plot for a sitcom like this. Put the characters in an unusual setting and see what happens. However, this one is very unique and would have been something fairly unusual for a live-action sitcom during the early noughties. It's two separate versions of the plot happening simultaneously, one with Lois at the forefront and the other with Hal. Now, I know a narrative choice like this is less impressive by modern standards, as shows like Community and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia play around with their plots too, but I can imagine it being quite the spectacle for both the actors and the audience of the time. As mentioned earlier on, I think the biggest differences in the story is which parent is at the bowling alley. In the Lois narrative thread, she locks down on the kids and attempts to chaperone the bowling trip, which causes way too much pressure for Malcolm. This is where the majority of the conflict comes from. Malcolm feeling like he's being suffocated by his mother, which leads to him losing focus and being unable to bowl. Malcolm snaps under the weight of the social embarrassment and fails to knock pins down whilst being ridiculously close to them. All of this conflict contrasts Reese's night, where the girl they are both pursuing seems interested in him. Well, up until he blows it by humiliating his brother with ridicule. Despite this, Reese still sees this as a victory and is complimentary of his mother at the end. These plot elements are cleverly paralleling the other events at the lanes as Hal does the complete opposite. Not wanting to embarrass his sons in front of their peers, he heads to the other side of the lanes and attempts to bowl a perfect game. This story thread is arguably the funniest of the whole plot, as Bryan Cranston gives a stellar performance. Unlike in the other scenario, Reese blows it with the girl almost immediately as she starts taking a liking to Malcolm. Apart from Hal's perfect game, this version has less plot elements, but I think the humour more than makes up for it. Especially as this day is a failure for Reese, as he accidentally knocks a ball into a guy who spends the rest of the plot trying to hit him. Malcolm's perfect night comes to a close as he accidentally wrecks Hal's perfect game. What makes this episode so great isn't just the interesting plot device used, it's how cleverly the two scenarios parallel each other. And to take this a step further, there is a contrasting night at home as Dewey tries to sneak out of his room. The events differ depending on which parent stayed home to watch him. The writers clearly put a lot of work into this episode, and I definitely think it paid off in a big way. I really recommend giving this one a watch, as it highlights the humour and the tone of the show very well. What do you think of this episode? Did you like it? Please let me know your thoughts in comments down below. If you liked what you saw, can you please hit that like button and subscribe? It will help my channel continue to grow. Stay close as I try to post new content as often as possible.